Yesterday, Bitcoin exactly got rejected from the level I mentioned in my video, and right now I need to talk about what is the next move. So I will be talking about this massive symmetrical triangle we're still creating, and while this is happening, actually Bitcoin remains to be in extreme fear, heavily getting shorted, and of course I'm going to be explaining what this means for the Bitcoin price action right now. I will be discussing the Bitcoin spot ETF, the massive news that Trump is actually leading the markets right now here, more important Bitcoin charts and patterns, and I will be talking about the Mt. Gox outflow, and I will talk a little bit more about the $784 million outflow that just happened on Mt. Gox and how the scenario is looking for that. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap that like button back above 1,000 likes. Will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. So looking at the 1 hour time frame, we can currently clearly see Bitcoin is just sidewaysly consolidating, really seeing those highs not taking out, the lows not taking out. So basically what we're still seeing is a compression getting created, where we're creating higher lows together with lower highs, and basically we're still looking at this major level resistance, which is of course the red box here, and right now still the downward sloping resistance line where we got rejected from multiple times before. But like I said in yesterday's video, while we were actually breaking out, I said that this red box is going to be the most important level to be breaking above of, and it wasn't this downward sloping resistance line. So since Bitcoin has not broken above this resistance right here, I still believe that ultimately we're in this bigger consolidation phase where Bitcoin is basically bouncing between those highs and lows, which are these two boxes I've currently drew. So yes, this is important to be understanding how the market is currently developing, but basically all we're seeing right now is just some sideways consolidation after Bitcoin has seen that significant dump towards the downside. And I mean, if I'm looking at the bigger perspective, we're still creating a symmetrical triangle, but what is very important to understand is that we're currently still creating lower lows on the daily time frame, and we're creating lower highs on the tops as well. So we're ultimately still trading in a bearish trend here, and whenever we can revert this massive downtrend, that is the point where we're going to be seeing that next big move towards the upside, towards new all-time highs, of course. But as long as that is not happening, I believe that ultimately still we are not quite sure what is going to be happening next year for Bitcoin, but we could be making some educated guess what could be happening next for Bitcoin. And of course, for that, I'm going to be looking at data points. And the data points I'm currently looking at is of course the Fear and Greed Index, which is by far the lowest point it has sit in this entire consolidation phase. And usually whenever there's a lot of fear in the market, it means a very good buying opportunity. But what is also reflecting the fear is that Bitcoin is heavily getting shorted. And I discussed this on the last two videos as well already, so I'm not going to be doing a deep dive, but it basically means Bitcoin is heavily getting shorted right now, also a lot of altcoins. And historically speaking, whenever Bitcoin gets so heavily shorted, and actually the last time this happened, Bitcoin saw a massive squeeze towards the upside. So Bitcoin is heavily getting shorted, and this is ultimately going to be causing and be the fuel for Bitcoin to be pushing up higher. So short liquidations could always push the prices higher, and as Bitcoin is heavily getting shorted, we could be in for a massive Bitcoin short liquidation. And as we're currently looking at the massive Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can currently see that Bitcoin is still consolidating, and the majority of the liquidity is laying around that 70 to 73,000 US dollar level, where more than 15 billion US dollars worth of Bitcoin short liquidations are laying, to be exact. And yes, yesterday actually we saw also more than 88 million US dollars on inflows on the spot Bitcoin ETF. And what we learned from the Q2 filings is that the largest banks out of the US are actually buying loads of Bitcoin. So while the smart money is currently buying, most people in retail are not even interested and are currently afraid. You have to understand the bigger perspective right here, and if I'm going to be looking to trade Bitcoin, guys, I am still looking for a massive trade here, but just like I said in many videos before, I'm a very patient trader and I'm a low risk tolerant trader, so I only look at low risk opportunities, and as soon as I see one, you will be the first one to know here on the channel, because then I'm going to be sharing my trading setups. And yes guys, if you want to be joining me with, and if you would like to already start trading, if you go right now to the highest link description of today's video, sign up at account to Bybit, you can actually claim a free $500 US airdrop position on Bybit for only signing up an account, completing KYC, and you can claim a free $500 US airdrop position. So if you are interested in trading on Bybit, where you can trade loads and loads of altcoins, make sure to check it out in the link description of today's video. Further on, we can currently see that actually on the daily time frame, the most important resistance is by far this red box right here. And on the daily time frame as well, if you're starting to zoom in a little bit more, you can clearly see we are creating still that compression pattern. And we're just moments out before this is going to be breaking out. Maybe it's going to be breaking out by the end of this week. Maybe it's going to be breaking out next week. But the one thing is for sure, we're going to be getting a breakout anytime soon right now here. And if we do break above the red box here, I believe we're going to be seeing a massive continuation towards the upside. Then as well, quickly, overnight, Trump actually flipped harish on poly markets, which means that the odds are right now in favor for Trump to win here. And that is actually a very good thing for the market because Trump, of course, embraced Bitcoin as an important thing for the US, and he wants to really regulate it in a good way here to not kick out Bitcoin out of the USA, but actually embrace it. So if he gets elected, it could definitely cause somewhat of a very significant rally in the price action of Bitcoin. And since the odds has right now been rising, it could also be that the market is going to be pricing in this potential acceptance of Donald Trump. But since we're still 70 days out here, a lot of things could be happening. And yes, really, we just have to wait and see how it's going to be playing out, because still a lot of things could be happening right here for the market. So currently as well, looking at the chart here on the 2-day time frame, Bitcoin is still creating this massive bull-like pattern, which is by far getting myself extremely excited. And yes, if we're looking at this cup and handle pattern, the breakout for Bitcoin still awaits whenever we are going to be breaking above the neckline or the cup line, whatever you want to be calling it. But if Bitcoin breaks above it, that is the point where the big bull market is really going to get started for Bitcoin. And I want to be pointing out for the people that think they are too late, guys, you're not too late. If we're going to be comparing this cycle to previous ones, we do clearly know that we're actually still lacking behind in this cycle, and that the most gains are usually already still yet to come. So this time around, it is no different than previous times, and most likely we're just going to be seeing this cycle playing out all over again. So yesterday as well, actually 7 hours ago, we saw an approximately $784 million outflows on Mt. Gox, and they are almost finished with distributing all their Bitcoins. Currently, they still have an approximately $2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin left here. And yeah, this distribution is expected to be happening in the coming like 2 or 3 weeks here. But of course, whenever this is finished, we're going to be having even less fun in the coming bull market for Bitcoin to really drop, because we literally distributed over 140,000 Bitcoins and nothing really happened. Bitcoin still held on towards this range where we're currently consolidating in. So this was basically it for me in today's update video. There's not a lot of stuff happening currently in the market outside of these consolidation phases. But yeah, I will keep you in the loop whenever we're going to be seeing a breakout, whenever anything is going to be happening. But remember, funding rates are heavily negative right now. The market is getting suppressed. The market isn't fair. And that usually provides the best buying opportunities out there. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Share this video with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.